Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. So I wanted to get into this topic again in regards to all the plans and efforts that Esau or Edom is trying to execute as they, get closer and closer to fulfilling their enterprise. It becomes more and more evident that that plan is going to backfire. And what I was thinking about just a little while ago, I was thinking about the details of the show here. It's like those scenes in those superhero movies or comic books where the hero of the movie seems to be apprehended and the villain goes on what they call, I forget what they call it. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So it's like the villain monologue, right? So when the hero seems to be apprehended and the villain seems to have gotten the upper hand, they go on this soliloquy, if you will, and they're just, and this was my plan, and this is what I was doing behind the scenes, and so I got in the mind of that, just looking at the current state of what's going on. Uh, the Edomites really think that all of their plans are going to come into fruition, but the Heavenly Father has another plan. But let me read this while I'm thinking about it. It's I want to say, I know it's Job, but it's the I think 20th verse or around there. Hmm. Hmm. Excuse me. It says, let's read. Let's start here at 12. Hmm, let's start at. I might have to read a little bit of it, but let me go to the point. Um, let's see. Boom. So you know what? I'm gonna start at 15 here. It says, this is Job 20 and 15. It says, He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. And Edom, they've done a lot of that, right? Surmounting riches, the riches of the world, going around from land to land, gaining, like the scriptures say, that which is not his, right? And so give me so um what it's saying here is that those riches that he swallowed down, he's going to vomit up again. What does that mean, right? When you've had too much of something, right? You had too many sweets, or you had too much macaroni and cheese. What do you do? You vomit it up, right? And so all that they've gained, in other words, shall be taken away. Let's see what it says in LT for this verse 15. It says, they will vomit the wealth they swallowed. The Most High won't let them keep it down, right? So, in other words, they're going to have to return it. In other words, right? Um, that reminds me of where it says in Isaiah, where it says, uh, let me see, the shall be converted unto me. That's in what is that? 1 second. That's it. Yeah, the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. Right. So that's what that reminds me of. All right. So going back in the KJV, it says, verse 16, he shall suck the poison of asps, the viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. Right. So all of these things that he's planning to surmount, right? Trying to manufacture the kingdom of heaven for himself, right? Brooks of honey, rivers, floods, butter. These are all goods, right? Things that are that express plenty, right? The Heavenly Father is saying they're not going to be able to see those things, right? So it says this in verse 18. It says, "That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein." Right. So when he is apprehended, right, when the villain is apprehended, the Heavenly Father is going to cause for all that he took, all that he destroyed, to be restored. Right. That's what this word restitution means. Let's look this up in the Googles. Mhm. Restitution is the act of returning what was lost or stolen, or making compensation for loss or injury. In a legal context, it most often refers to court ordered payment from a criminal to a victim for damages caused by the crime, or compensation for losses in situations like a breach of contract, right? What did that remind me of? Breach of contract, where it says, I think that's Psalms 55. Let me see. Psalms 55, where it says, let me see. Oh, maybe 55 and 21. Yep. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, right? Matter of fact, verse 20, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant, right? And so there was a breach of contract, right? They promised of peace. They promised to deal fairly here in this land, but they didn't do that, right? So now there has to be a restitution. Okay. It says, for example, a court can order a convicted person to pay the victim's medical bills or property damage, right? And so this is what's going to happen. There's going to be a great restoration, or a great restitution of all that Esau has destroyed, and he's going to be made to restore it. That's what it's talking about here in Job, the 20th chapter. Um, it says this. It says, the restoration of something lost or stolen to its proper owner, right? What does that remind you of? Let's go back over here and do this. This is Second Ezra 6 and 54. It says, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Right? So we are the proper owners of this world, right? Proper owner. So it says recompense for injury or loss. Haven't we been injured? Haven't we been disenfranchised? right? So all of these plans that they have, right? Behind the scenes, the Heavenly Father is working out the details of the restitution. So he has these plans of, like, again, like I said, this manufactured kingdom of heaven, and that's what AI is about. That's what the micro C hip is about. This manufactured kingdom of heaven where he's in control. But behind the scenes, while all of that is going on, the Heavenly Father is working out how he's going to pay back the people. Okay. It says this in verse 19, back in Job. It says, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not, right? And it's documented. And this is a part of what they're trying to do as far as removing this critical race theory from the schools. They don't want people to know what they did, right? So that means there's a generation of people, like, okay, my youngest is 4 years old, my oldest is 20, right? They may not have even spoken about the transatlantic slave trade, or let's say not even just the transatlantic slave trade. I think that's the most polarizing thing that they've done, and this is why we always go back to that. But also what they did to the natives here, the tribe of Gad, right? We already mentioned all of those peace treaties that were made that they broke, all the land that they commandeered, if you will, by wicked means, by trickery, deceit, right? And all up and down the Americas, wherever the 12 tribes dwell, they have done some deceitful thing to commandeer the land, or to commandeer the goods of the land, or to commandeer the people, right? And so they're gonna have to pay all of those things back. Okay. So again, it's documented, right? It says violently taken away an house which he builded not. Right. If you go into the journals of the Europeans, let's say it this way, the European Edomites that came over here to the Americas, they spoke about how beautiful the cities were, namely Tenochtitlan, which is now Mexico City. Right. They talked about how beautiful the cities were, and they took it. Okay. Verse 20, it says, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. Okay. What is he desiring? His own kingdom of heaven, right? I will rebuild the desolate places. His desire is to restore his father's birthright, who is Esau, right? That's his desire. And he's going to manufacture his own kingdom of heaven, his own spiritual power, his own financial power, his own authority. That's what he desires to do. But again, behind the scenes, the Heavenly Father is working it out where he's going to have to pay all of those things back. Okay. It says this, it says, there shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. Right. So all of that, all of the, let's say, uh, commerce that changes hands due to the existence of America, nobody's going to be looking for that anymore. Ain't gonna be no more meat left. It says, ain't no more meat left. So nobody's gonna be looking to trade. And or what does it say? In let's go there. Let's go over here. Let's go to. Let's go to. What is that? Yep. Let's go here. This is Revelation 18:4. It says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double." Right. So all of those things that we've been talking about that America has done, or that the kingdom of Edom has done, they're going to be repaid for that. Reward her even as she rewarded you, right? Restitution, revenge. Okay. It says, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, right? What did it talk about? That honey, the rivers overflowing, right? They've lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth, right, who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, right? So going back to that, what did it say? Right. It says, there shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods, right? So that's what it's talking about here, right? All those kings that have made money off of America, right? All of that's going away. All of that is going to be restored to its rightful owners. Okay. It says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Verse 11, and all the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. You see? So that's what it's talking about here. Okay. No man look for his goods. Okay. Verse 22, it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. So everybody's going to turn against her. Right? Just like it says, what is that? Is that Obadiah? Boom. Obadiah 1 and 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. You see? So all of these plans, all of these things that they're working towards, the Heavenly Father is behind the scenes saying, all right, yep, yep. Just like he said, matter of fact, let's go to it. Let's go to that. Let's go to that. It is Malachi 1 and 4. Let's start at. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. So all of these plans that they got going on, all of these, we're going to put this over here, we're going to put that over there, we're going to put the CHIP and them over here, and this is how we're going to organize this, and we got this IMF over here, and we got this organization over there, and this, we're going to have these summits and these meetings, and here's where we're going to pull the trigger on this thing here, and this is a part of the system here. All of that building that they're doing, the Heavenly Father is looking at them. Okay, you're going to build, but he's going to throw it down, right? That day of judgment, of course, is for you got the wicked of our people in there too, but ultimately the day of judgment is for Edom and the heathen nations that have been against us. Just like in times of old when the Heavenly Father delivered us by way of a judge, he's going to deliver us in this time by way of a judge, and that judge being the Lord Yahweh Shai. All these plans are going to come to naught, if you will. Okay. So let's see. Yep. Let's read this. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, right? When it looks like his plans are finally coming into play, and he's given that great villain speech once the hero has been apprehended, so to speak, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn, right? And cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Okay. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. You see? And this is what's going to happen. All of those plans will come to naught. Okay. So again, as I was going through the details here, just want to check something real quick. As I was going through these details, I started thinking about this recent quote unquote um, this end of the Israel Hamas conflict or war that's going on over there in the Middle East, and they're calling it a peace signing. Right? He's being recommended for the Nobel Peace Prize and so forth and so on. But what do the scriptures say? Okay, let's see this. Excuse me. This is First Thessalonians. Oops. First Thessalonians 5:3. It says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Right? That's what's coming here. So even though there was a so-called peace signing, an end to a war, right? We're in the time of war. That's where we are. That's what we're doing right now here in this world. We are at war. There's a spiritual war going on. There's physical wars going on. There's wars and rumors of wars going on. That's the time that we're in. So even though you got this guy signing these things into uh, I guess into legislation, right? There's still some things that got to go on. Matter of fact, it says it here. It says while President Donald Trump has declared the Israel-Hamas war over, some Middle East experts say the process to end the 2-year conflict is just beginning. Right, so it's not over, right? Monday's historic release of the remaining living Israeli hostages in Gaza and the simultaneous release of more than 1,900 Palestinian prisoners that had been held by Israel is just part of the first step of Trump's 20-point plan to bring peace to the region. After so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land in a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity, Trump said in a speech on Monday to the Israeli parliament, which is all horseshit. Excuse my French, but it's all horseshit. Okay. Again, the Heavenly Father is getting ready to destroy them. Look at them. Look at them. Man, the Heavenly Father is going to wipe them out in a special kind of way, man. Okay. So that's it. That was really all I had on my mind. Hopefully that was edifying. As always, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Dash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great millstone who rule well. Honor and salutation to the elect. And with that, I say shalom.